Giants fans, what is going on? Welcome to another episode of New York Giants Rush. Guys, we have the pleasure of being in the presence of the great Truth. And of course, we got Chris. Guys, what is going on tonight and how pumped are you? Because we're 2 months away from New York Giants football season. I apologize. A month and a half. Not even that.
I'm getting there. No, I'm getting there. I'm getting excited. You know, watching these practices, I don't have the luxury to watch them live or anything. I watch them on YouTube, but it's exciting. It really is.
Absolutely.
How great is it? I mean, last week, we got kind of spoon-fed a few days with just the helmets and shorts. Now, Monday, they transitioned to the pads. Fingers crossed everybody gets out of here healthy. But you can see things are starting to ramp up. A couple scuffles, right? Shane Lemieux, Dexter Lawrence.
Like that.
We're getting into some meat here, which is great.
Absolutely. Let me actually ask you about that. I was going to hold on to this topic for just a little bit, but, it comes up every now and then. I don't know if you guys played football. Truth, I know you were a golfer. Chris.
I play football.
You did play football. Did you play in high school, Chris?
I did.
All right. What are your thoughts when you hear two guys getting into a fight? Do you worry about team unity or do you just not care in the slightest? Because I know
funny. If it was baseball, you'd probably care about unity. But since it's football, these guys live and die with each other. And it happens that Lemieux and Lawrence have lockers next to each other. I think it's good. You always hear it brings the team even closer. I'm sure they're shaking hands and high-fiving each other hours later. So
they forgot about it by now.
Yeah, 90 degrees. You're in helmets and full pads. Tempers are going to flare like every year.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah. Look, I'm with you. I mean, football's just a different sport. I mean, you're out there. It's hot. The tension's high. You're trying to earn a spot. You're trying to keep a spot. Somebody, you feel like when you're in that moment and it's so angst and pumped, the atmosphere, right? You get into scuffles. It just happens. There's a good chance they went out for a beer after that and completely made up and probably never even said sorry to each other, and they're completely over it by now. I completely agree with you. But listen, guys, if you want to get big and you want to get strong, Chris, I think we got something we want to show them, right?
Yeah. Our great sponsor, Astroflave, came on board, a few months ago, and what a great company. I've been using Astroflave even way before they were one of our sponsors. The reason why Astroflave, their peanut butter cup, is really the top of the line is because you have a combination of great taste, great flavor, and great quality. So you're getting 0 sugar, 25 grams of protein, low carb, meal replacement, snack, whenever you need to use it on their shakes. They have a wide variety, too much that we can get into here, on the show. But check out their website, astroflave.com, all their shakes, all their products. They have all kinds of different things from greens also. You don't get enough of your vegetables, they have stuff to supply you with greens. So good stuff. Their shakes are awesome. Check them out, astroflave.com. Located in New Jersey. You can't find them at the big stores. You can find them only in South Jersey at a few smaller ones, but go online and they'll ship them out to you. And they do have coupon codes as well. So check them out.
Chris, I'm with you. And that's the one thing that's beautiful about it. Guys, you obviously don't see all of Chris's body right now. He's pretty jacked. All right. Take his word for it.
I owe you a steak dinner, Mike. No problem.
And look, the one point that you had about that product that you're so on point about is that there's no sugar in it. 10 years ago, the protein powder that we were taking, like for high school football, a lot of it was loaded with sugar, and it just wasn't really that good for you. Obviously, you get pretty big, but there's been a lot of concerns, a lot of health problems the last couple decades because the amount of sugar has been increasing the American diet, right? So this is something that, again, guys, if you're going to the gym, you're hitting it hard, this is something you're definitely going to want to look into. But look, on to the next topic, guys. We're clearly talking about Giants training camp. Giants fans, we're going to be out there spread out throughout the week as to when we're going to be at New York Giants football camp. Chris, I believe you're going to be there Sunday.
Sunday the 14th, Craig and I will be out there. I had a couple of reports in on Friday the 29th this past weekend, but Craig and I will be out there on the 14th.
Excellent. Guys and Giants fans, I'm going to try to be there the Monday, the day after on August. I apologize. I'm going to try to be there on Monday the 8th.
And Mike, if I could just jump in, also FanFest on Friday. I know Craig and Zane and myself will be there at FanFest. So just follow the tweets and you'll see where we're going to be at. We're going to do a show from there, I believe.
But that should be fun.
Training camp. I'm getting a little sick of training camp, even though it just kind of started because I just want real football. But this is very critical because the news at what happens in training camp, is going to send the Giants on a trajectory this season. depending if they can get their offense, defense organized, everything like that. The first thing I want to bring up, and Truth, I want to go to you first on this, is they brought back Andrew Adams, who was a safety for the New York Giants from 2016 to 2017. What are your thoughts on this move?
I like it. Even before Belton got hurt, I like the move. Chris will touch on him when he was a Giant, when he first was there, but I like the move. I'll let Chris take it for the start, and I'll pick up after you. Okay, Chris?
When you look back to Andrew Adams, undrafted out of Connecticut, drafted when Ben McAdoo was the head coach. So he had 2 seasons with McAdoo, 2016, 2017. Came into his rookie year not playing much until, if you remember these names, Nat Burhay and Darian Thompson both went down. So that thrusted Adams into his starting role. I think he had like 747 snaps, played 13 games, and even contributed on special teams. When Shermer came in 2018, he was gone. He didn't make it past training camp. So that was kind of a shock because everybody saw, some good depth, if nothing else, from Andrew Adams. And then I'll tell you what, he ended up in Tampa and another, was it Detroit?
Detroit and Lions he played. And Eagles too.
Eagle a little bit, and then he finished up obviously with Tampa and played really well. So in fact, I think he had 46 tackles like 2 years ago with Tampa. But I think for depth, some experience, I'm happy he's back. And obviously with the injury today to Dan Belton, or 2 days ago, or was it yesterday, with the clavicle, that's just collarbone injury.
But that's surgery, right? I think you tweeted that no surgery, right?
No surgery. I think they're saying 6 to 8 weeks. So that goes into September. And he's missing a lot of his important time being a rookie, right? He's not going to be able to get out here and play. So
that's why having Adams now is very important because he more or less is now your third safety. He will see snaps with the Wink's system, and he's going to play special teams because he did a lot of that as well when he got the Giants. Don't forget he's got a Super Bowl ring too. So that means something.
I'd like him to walk away with another one. To be quite frank with you, I'd love for him to get a second Super Bowl ring.
With the Giants, you mean, right?
with the Giants. I don't need to see Tampa, him get traded back to Tampa and win another. That's not the storybook ending I'm looking for Mr. Adams' career. No doubt about it. But you guys bring up a good point. Here's a dude that really came along over the course of the time that he was with the Giants, went to Tampa, played fair. It was a lot of offseason moves, I feel like. I can't even tell you the amount of times he either got cut or traded or moved around and constantly got brought back to the Buccaneers. But, look, here's a dude that, like you said, Belton's down. We'll talk about that in just a sec. That, we can get a little bit of value out of. I'm very excited to have him back. There's no doubt about it. Real quick, guys, we got, great Giants fan in the house, Joe Becker. Always love it when he is on. If you guys don't follow him, he's also a comedian. Definitely give him a follow. He's on Twitter. He's one of the most enjoyable dudes out there. Joe Becker also had this. Heard you guys got a new interview lined up. He's correct. We will provide details on that very shortly. But next, guys, let's go on to the next point right now. I want to talk about our offensive lineman performance at camp. I know Joshua Izudu and somebody. Say it again. Izuzu. Okay. He's been killing it. From what I'm hearing, he's out there every day, and it's really coming along for him a lot easier than they kind of thought it was. And also, if you remember some of the Giants linemen that were drafted in the last few years, the interior linemen, they would struggle in training camp. Supposedly, he's having a pretty successful bout of it, and he's not going against an easy defensive front. He's getting some good reps in. Truth, what have you been hearing about him? What are your thoughts on him? Do you think he can take over that starting position one day?
Well, I think we touched on this a few weeks back. I like the kid, and I did say that I think by the end of next year, we're going to be seeing how great that pick was in round 3, getting him out of North Carolina. I think the kid is very versatile. He can play guard and tackle. He's doing a great job right now, playing any opportunity he's getting. He's taking advantage of it. And I do think if everyone stays healthy, I think he's going to give Lulu a run for his money, and he's going to probably take over that because You gotta pass block in that system that the offensive system we have now. And unless Lemieux has become a better pass blocker, it's going to be hard for him. It's going to be hard because he wasn't very good when he played his rookie year.
Chris, what are your thoughts? I mean, let's say where in the depth chart is he right now for interior offensive linemen? And how quickly do you think that we could see him out there on the front line?
Well, what's interesting is I see him right behind Lemieux right now. And Lemieux, all accounts, is having a great training camp. What's interesting is Feliciano has been out for a few days.
Yeah.
Lemieux has been now taking some snaps at center. Jamil Douglas looked horrible, they said, at center. So I don't count him filling in at center. They said he didn't do very well. But Lemieux is taking snaps at center. So, depending on how everything works out with Feliciano during the season, I think Izzuto is going to be primed halfway through the season to possibly slot himself into that guard spot. And Lemieux may transition to the center position if Feliciano's not doing well. And now, look, long-term, Feliciano is a one-year deal, right? So Feliciano may be gone next year. I wouldn't be surprised another Nick Gates situation where maybe Lemieux, with his feistiness, starts getting groomed possibly to work at center even more. And there you have Izzuto starting at that left guard spot. But I think a lot rides on Lemieux. I mean, this guy, like Truth was saying, he needs to pass block better. So it's going to be a lot on him to kind of see where the chips fall, I think, after the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Lemieux was another one of those Gettleman picks. He's looking like it right now where he excelled in just one particular area, run blocking, but Oregon ran a bit of a different system in college. And I feel like Gettleman would ignore serious faults in players or serious downsides because they did one thing particular well. And I don't think that run blocking in this day and age in football is nearly as important as it was in the 80s. And I do think we had a bit of a dated system.
Let me just say this. I think Oregon did more of a power scheme with their run blockers. When you play in the NFL, your linemen have to be a little bit more mobile. And I think that's what hurts Lemieux is mobility and space. So, if you're asking him to dig in the trenches and plow going forward, he does a good job, in the run block. But if he's got to move, like, when was the last time you saw a pulling guard on the Giants? When's the last time you ever see that? And that was a pulling guard or a pulling center. It's still active in the NFL when you have sweeps. How often do you see the Giants do that or do it well? So
it was poorly executed for the last few years. We weren't really able to successfully do it. And I would almost argue that Hernandez was the best at it, and that was one of the only things he was decent at.
Yeah. Kind of the opposite of Lemieux, right? He was a better pass blocker.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's right.
Exactly. What about other news on the offensive line, guys? I think early on, Evan Neal was looking pretty fantastic. I think they put on pads, and it was a little tweaky the first couple days. Guys, what do you think? I mean, I personally think it's a little tough to come out there and block, I get out there and go against the front seven of the Giants right now. It's a pretty formidable bunch. Do you make much if you hear that somebody's having a rough first couple of days?
No, I don't. I mean, listen, he's still going to have to adjust to the speed of the NFL, and I saw some clips of him go against Thibodeau, and that was pretty fun to watch.
Yeah.
And listen, that's how guys become really, really good is when you have competition across you in practice. And Thibodeau, we all know, is going to be an excellent pass rusher. And what better way to get better is to go against him every day in practice. So
yeah, and we hear this every training camp. The defense is always ahead of the offense. I mean, you think about the twists, the stunts, all these different creative things that Wink is doing with the defense. It's got to be a little overwhelming for the offensive line. Not only are they trying to gel together as a unit, but now they're getting thrown the kitchen sink from Wink. So there's a lot being thrown at them. So we have to kind of take things a little slow. And I believe, even in September, the beginning, it may be a little rough. I really believe going into October, really where we're going to start to see this offensive line start to gel. But it's going to take time. I mean, it's a lot to ask when we're playing together for the first time, and you have a crazy mad scientist like Wink Martindale just throwing all these crazy looks at him.
Yeah, no, I hear you. You know what's funny? you're so spot on. I think it's a little bit easier for the defense to get adjusted than is the offense. We've been waiting for them to gel for a long time, but in any given season, it takes the offense a little bit of time to get productive. You see that with every single team. I mean, even the Patriots would start out the first 4 games in the last 10 years and still be a little rough around the edges. I mean, it does happen. What's interesting, though, is 2007, we had Matthias Kiwanuka on the show, right? And he actually talked about, how tough it was for the defense to gel early in the season. I said Matthias Kiwanuka, my bad. Kawaka Mitchell. We had him on the show.
Yeah.
And he was talking about how, the defense was the opposite back then. Both years, 07, 08, it was they're trying to get their stuff together as the season was going along there. Offense, though, you're right. It takes some time to gel. What I hope is that our offensive line right now, Andrew Thomas, Lewinsky, Evan Neal, that's pretty solid, set right there. Obviously, we're still a little bit worried about the center position and then the right guard spot, but more time to come. What I'm praying for, and I know you all are all as well, is that there's no injuries to the offensive line throughout the rest of the camp. We can't.
Yes,
right.
Please.
For sure.
Yeah. Not to say that we can afford them with other positions, but it's like we've been waiting to see an offensive line gel since 2011. I would take it a step further, since 2010, since that offensive line, that was the last great offensive line we had. It started taking a tumble even the year we won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, for sure.
But all right, guys, let's talk about some other items on the table right now. Giants over/under for the win category is 7.5. We brought this up the other week. 7.5. Look, we haven't won 7 games or more since 2016, right? What are your thoughts on that? Do you think we're getting disrespected, or do you think that's pretty fair?
Yeah, Chris, I'll let you go.
Oh, well, now that you have 17 games, 7's it seems a little. It seems possible. I think that's spot on. They win 8 games. I'm happy. 8 and 9, where they've come from, and with the schedule, I think 8 and 9. I hate to say happy at 8 and 9. I mean, listen, 9 and 8, I'd be happy. 8 and 9, I'd be pleasantly surprised. 7 and 10, that's kind of where I think they would be. 7 and 10, where I think they would be. 8 and 9 would be, I guess, a little bit of a bonus for the first year.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Listen, you win. Yeah, they won 4 games last year. If you doubled your win total the following year, that's pretty good. That is pretty good. And I think last time we were on, we had the odd guy Gino on, right?
Yep.
And I think I said he did the same thing, 7.5. I went over. I said I think they're going to get 8 wins. Barring injuries, if they stay healthy, I think they have a good chance to get 8 wins.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they could.
I do feel this way, guys. The problem with, a lot of guys are like, well, we can simply accept the, 6 games or less to rebuild the year. Think the Giants are really rebuilding anymore? I mean, we have some pretty older guys at leadership positions at this point. I think we got some young players in some, powerful positions like left tackle and edge. Don't get me wrong. Daniel Jones' 4th year. I don't think this is really a rebuild. He's got to get comfortable in an offense finally. I actually think that the Giants really should be winning in the range of 7 to 9 games, as you guys said, even 10. I don't see why they can't do it. If the Giants lose 6 games or more, there's something super fundamentally wrong with one side of the ball or a particular unit, if you will, that I feel like, there's a serious issue at hand with something if that's our success.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the Giants are there anymore. I just don't think we have it. I think our offense, has some building to do, but I don't think we're going to be bottom 4 offensive line, bottom 4 productivity. I don't see it. So let me ask you this. What's the worst unit on the Giants right now?
Gotcha.
The worst unit. I don't want to say the word worse. I might say the word unexpected or concern. My biggest concern is the secondary for the Giants. Because you're going to have, right now, you're going to have a starter at corner with Robinson. You're going to have somebody playing the slot. We talked about him, Darnell Holmes, right now, projected to be the starter, who hasn't secured that spot, but he's really the only one who is NFL ready to do that. You got another guy in Love who's going to take on a larger role and take on a lot. That's a big difference when you're a platoon guy or now you're the guy that got to play every snap. So that concerns me is the secondary.
Okay, Chris, do you agree?
I do, and I hate to make it boring with agreeing with Mike and not making it controversial, but how could you not? We're very thin, right? Somebody goes down, who's coming in? I mean, we have guys very inexperienced, coming off the bench. Guys like Michael Jaquette. We still have Darnay Holmes in the nickel, and we have a rookie like Flott. Jaron Williams, right? He was let go. We thought he would be possibly moved to that safety spot.
I was shocked.
Aaron Robinson, we don't know what we're going to get with him. We think he's playing well in camp, but we have to see once the games start. So I think we're thin, and I still think as soon as we get into week 1, they're going to bring a veteran in, because just keep in mind after week 1, those veteran salaries aren't guaranteed. So I could see a guy like maybe Joe Hayden still out there. Is Marcus Trufant still out there? So I could see a veteran just coming in at that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're going to see a lot of moves.
You won't see a coach on the field with them.
Here's one comment from Mason. Everybody's been saying secondary. I see you, Joe Becker. Mark, I see you, man. Running back room, Saquon goes down. Yeah, you could argue that's a pretty thin room.
That's a great
thoughts
point.
about that, or you think that's a concern for later down the line?
Well, I think it's a concern, absolutely, but I just think the secondary is a little bit more of a concern than a running back. That's all.
Yeah, I personally think – here's one from Mark. Again, it may still be the offensive line we need to see them perform game time.
Great point.
True. That's true. And that's
true. We feel like it's over, right? We feel like our struggles are over, and we've been saying that every year.
That's every position. We got to do it when the game time comes.
I did think they did a piss poor job last offseason of addressing the offensive line. I do. A lot of people thought we're going into the year correct. I've been wrong about things before, guys. I'm not trying to make it seem like I'm that much of an expert. But, I had a bad feeling last year. I do have a different feeling this year.
Well, last year was horrible. They didn't draft anyone.
Yeah,
exactly. And people were
How could you not draft a lineman?
And so many fans were arguing that, you can't draft by position. Yeah, I guess you're right. But, when you're in the mid-rounds, maybe you kind of go for the best available lineman rather than, the best available player, unless you think you're getting, an out-of-the-park home run.
And it was the arrogance of Gettleman saying, we like the guys we got. That's fine, you like the guys we got. But then he's scrambling right after week 1, picking up guys like Bretterson, Billy Price, Skura.
Right.
He knew at that point he needed some depth because we didn't have anything to back these guys up.
So one of the biggest fans that we have out there is Craig Santucci. Craig Santucci wrote in here. Just kidding, guys. Sometimes your fans refer to him Rush, but as you know, Craig Santucci, he's commenting the receivers. Here's my thoughts. I want to hear all of your thoughts real quick. But my thoughts are we do have talented receivers. They were just so poorly utilized last year. We couldn't see it work. Chris?
Yeah, no, I agree. There's some unproven guys, right? Wan'Dale Robinson, Tony couldn't stay on the field. But I think the ability's there when you add Robinson into this mix, and with the creativity that you're hearing coming out of camp with Kafka and Dable, moving guys around, pre-snap motion, it's going to be something that we're not used to.
Oh, I love seeing that.
Yeah, and Bellinger, that's going to be, somebody under the radar, right? That nobody's going to expect. And as Giant fans, we've been hearing a lot about him, and I think we're going to expect big things from him.
I totally agree. I hate it that Chris and I always agree with each other. but
yes, guys, this is the opposite of the political spectrum here.
In truth, it's a long year. It's 17 weeks. Don't worry, we'll definitely be sparring soon.
Listen, I said it last time we were on. I think in the wide receivers, someone's going to shock you. I think someone's going to have a better year than we think, and the fans are ripping them apart. I'm not going to say who it is, and Chris knows what I'm talking about. I think he's going to shock people. I think he's going to have a pretty decent year. I'm not saying a Pro Bowl year, but I think he's going to have a heck of a better year than last year.
Okay. I'd like to find out more, but like the fans out here, I will not be in on that secret. That's okay. I can get over that. But listen, guys, I think we're all kind of hanging on the same points here. The effectiveness of the receivers last year were like, if we were trying to throw bullets rather than the bullets being in a gun. Bullets aren't effective, right?
It was a system last year. It was plain and simple. It was a system.
Yeah.
You know?
One sec. Mason, what do you got? You talking about KG?
Yes, Mason. Mason, Sherlock Holmes. He figured it out.
Sharp.
Okay. There's been concerns about Kenny Galladay, though, because there's some fans that feel like he, gives up. Now, granted, I think he was affected by the system last year.
We'll see.
I think he was frustrated last year, too. And so maybe when you see him playing on the sidelines, we mistake it as, some sort of character thing. But, I mean, look, he's not in a good system, and he knew it.
Look, Craig, overpaid. We know Craig's not a fan of Galladay. We know that.
Well, no, to his credit, if you paid somebody by their performance, you would aggregate his performance to not deserve the pay.
It's only 1 year, though. Let's give him a chance. Come on.
That's true. And I think he can come back. I have no doubt about it.
Listen, I don't like to change sports, but I'm a Met fan. And I can tell you when we first got Diaz, how many fans want to hang that guy and get him out of town. Now, no one can touch him. He comes in, it's lights out. He strikes everybody out. So you got to give someone time to acclimate themselves to New York, to get their feet set. Just give him time. He'll be fine.
I agree. Tudo, you asked a good question. Our entire team is asking for Craig. Where's the big boss tonight? So get ready for this. He is in Michigan. I was in Michigan at the same time as Craig, and neither of us knew about it. So we were very close to each other because I know he probably was in East Lansing at some point. I was in East Lansing this past weekend as well, and we just didn't even update each other on the weekend, so we completely missed each other. And so that's his excuse for the night. He is with his daughter at Michigan State right now. She is a field hockey player there.
Yes, field hockey.
Yeah. So he is on vacation with his family. Michigan's beautiful this time of year. It really is. So he's enjoying his time up there. So I'm running the show tonight, Tudo. I hope I don't disappoint the team there. I know your whole rugby team is playing Italian rugby at 2 a.m. in the morning, I believe is the guest system. But Craig is right here. Craig is here in the comments section with you. He just ate a cheeseburger. Oh, we're done talking about Michigan State.
Is that what that place is called? What's that? Hopcat? What is that?
Yeah, Hopcat. It's the best place to eat a cheeseburger in East Lansing. One of the best. One of the best.
There you go.
Crunchies is a little bit better. But
yeah. I'm going to just say something. You know what? I don't know if you want to lead into this, but I watched a little bit of the training camps. You know what play is really impressing me when it's a play, and it's what's his name? Oh my God, I forgot his name now.
What position?
Oh my God, this is what happens when you get old. No, he's our defensive lineman, number 99. What's his name again?
Leonard Williams. I forgot his name earlier too, man. What the hell's going on here, Truth?
I know, right? He looks good. I mean, he's beaten the offensive lineman on one-on-ones a lot.
He's killing it. I was a little worried it's the offensive line that's struggling, but I'm starting to be like, wait a second, is Leonard Williams just killing it out there? He's going to have an All-Pro season.
Man, you put that with Ozolari and Tibbs, and I mean, we're looking at a nice little package there. I think Wink sleeps really good at night, knowing what he has.
Oh yeah,
guys, think he's bound for a good season. I'm not really worried about him. Typically, you don't really see two in a row incredible seasons from players. You usually see just a little bit of this, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's Williams. He had a great year in 2020. I have no doubt that. And last year he was played in a certain way where he's really.
He had more tackles last year. I mean, he didn't have sacks, but he had more tackles. He played a run like a stud last year. He
played extremely disruptive football, and then in the red zone again, he played elite football like he always does in the red zone. Actually, for the past 2 years, that's the only time our defense did play defense was in the red zone.
Click that thing with Craig. He says McFadden will start by midseason. I thought McFadden plays too much like Martinez. He won't play side by side.
I haven't heard much about McFadden coming out of camp.
I haven't either.
No. I heard Beavers a little bit, but not much on McFadden either.
That's another kid that
Truth. You were a huge fan of Beavers before the season started, right?
Yeah, I was.
Cincinnati.
I was shocked that he got drafted that late. I'm telling you, he's another guy that we're going to say next year. What a steal that was in the 6th round, getting Beavers.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
No doubt about it. Chris, what player are you most excited about that you've been hearing about in training camp? I mean, who is it? Is it somebody we already talked about, or is it somebody that, we haven't discussed yet?
Wan'Dale Robinson. From all accounts, you've heard that he's having a fantastic camp. He's catching everything. They're moving him around, like we just mentioned before. The pre-snap motion, they're moving him all over the field. I mean, I'm not going to compare him to Tyreek Hill, but it's almost like he's going to take that role a little bit. I guess Tony would be kind of the same way too. They're similar with their juking ability, but I think Wan'Dale Robinson, he's a rookie, right? He's like that. He's fresh. We don't know what to expect. We expect big things from him, but in a Giants uniform, we don't know what to expect. So I'm excited about Wan'Dale Robinson because there hasn't been any slow up from him going back from mini camp to rookie camp and moving right along into training camp. He hasn't missed a beat. So
yeah, and that's very exciting to hear about a wide receiver, especially coming out of the round that he did, is producing and succeeding so well because there were question marks about his size. Craig was very concerned about it.
You guys remember draft night, right?
Yeah, but he had a good point, and he brought down the stats. I mean, when you're that small, it is pretty effective for your game. It's very tough to find guys that are that productive at that level, but it doesn't mean they can't be. Real quick, Joe Becker, before I get Truth's opinion on that, you asked, are you guys going to Fan Fest? The answer is, Chris, go ahead.
Yes, we're going. Craig and I will be there. I'm not sure. Zane will be there too. Zane will be there. 3 of us. Yep. So
you guys you're gonna announce where you're gonna be so the guys know where you're gonna be?
Craig will be doing that, I believe, later in the week.
Yeah, we got to figure that one out. I know they've been a little bit tough about cameras at training camp too, from what I heard from license plate guy on Twitter today. So it's definitely something to be aware of. But yeah. We'll be tweeting all day, Giants fans. Becker, I would love to meet you in person, man. I won't be at FanFest. I will be at Monday's training camp, Monday the 8th. Would love to meet you in person, man.
Yeah, Joe. Looking forward to meeting you on Friday.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Absolutely.
I'll be there in spirit.
Yes, true. You enjoy North Carolina, man. All right, but Truth, back to you, man. Who do you have high hopes for? Who is looking the best in training camp? Who do you think is going to be the breakout player of the year? And you can't
breakout player of the year. Oh my goodness. Well, I'm going to stay with the same position that Chris has, but I'm going to go with Tony. He's looking really good, and he looks motivated. He's ready to play. I watch what I've been watching. He runs great routes, that kid, and I mean he turned. I think it was Adoree Jackson. Like he spun him around on a play and took it deep on him. I think that was Adoree Jackson, and he looks good. A breakout year. I mean, I would love to see him have. I'd love to see him have a lot of games like he did against Dallas, like a few of those during the game. Stay healthy. That would be great. That would be great.
I'll take it. I have no problem with that. I like to imagine it.
Just stay healthy. He'll do it.
Hey, that's the key.
Truth, the fans have a question for you. Joe Becker. Does Joe Becker need Tar Heels versus Duke tickets at UNC? You got him, right?
No, too late. No, after my kids graduated from there, my kids went to UNC, so.
Nice.
Not anymore.
I always thought they were the best football uniforms. I love
that. You like that powder blue look?
Yeah.
And I'm sure the football tickets go for cheap. The basketball tickets are a different story, correct?
Yeah, I think the basketball tickets are forget it. It's hard to get into those games.
Yeah.
Especially Duke against North Carolina. I mean, that's tough to get into.
One more question from the fans. Mason lives in Charlotte. I actually didn't know that. You're in the Charlotte area too, right? Truth?
Yeah, I live right on the border of North and South Carolina. Where does he? He lives in Charlotte, huh? Okay.
Yeah, and Mason's one of the hey guys. I'm pretty sure we had him on the show. We had him on the draft show this past year.
Let me ask you, Mason. How far do you live from the Valentine Resort? Just answer that question. If you heard me.
He has not
Well,
responded yet.
Not yet. All right, so we'll
here we
go
go.
on.
Got it. Fort Mill, technically.
Oh, okay. He's not far from me.
So let me ask you this: do the Giants get I expect that the Giants fans show up pretty big in Carolina when they play the Panthers. Is that true?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I go to every, a lot of New York area people down there.
Yeah, I go to anytime the Giants play here, I'll go. And you know, in the stadium at the Bank of America, you can't park. There's no parking area inside the stadium. You have to park outside. They have all these places, and people have, you know, they have their barbecues and their little, and you see or a ton of Giant jerseys when the Giants play. So a lot of New Yorkers live down here.
Good. I mean, you know, guys, this is actually something we can get back to, you know, Giants players, Giants news in just a sec. I think a lot of fans out there are intrigued with the concept of perhaps traveling for a game every year, travel for an away game. Have you guys ever been to so you've been to the Carolina game? Chris, have you been to an away game for the Giants before?
Yeah, I've been for those that remember New Orleans, the Joe Horn game. Jim Foster's last couple games when Joe Horn, if you remember, pulled the phone out of the goalpost. The Giants got destroyed that game. I was also in Arizona. I got to think, Philly.
Arizona, it's like, look, you're going to be safe in the stadium because those fans aren't too passionate with the Cardinals.
Yeah.
It's not a dangerous place to go see a game. But look, if you enjoy the Southwest, you want to go out there in like November, great time of year, man. If you play golf, go for it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, beautiful. And then you said you went to Philadelphia. I actually would highly recommend that nobody does that because I don't.
A while ago, yeah.
I grew up outside the Philadelphia area, and let me tell you, me and my dad, my dad had seen 6 of the Giants. Every time they played in Philly, just wasn't even a question. Like, we never even thought about going, never brought it up in conversation. We just, like, both telepathically knew that neither of us would want to do that.
Yeah. Quick story for you guys with MetLife. So I have season tickets, and this was probably back in 2014. The Giants were, maybe it's 2015. It was bad season as usual, and it was freezing cold December. I wasn't going to the Giant Philly game. I sold my tickets apparently to an Eagle fan. Well, 2 months later, I get a letter from the Giants to warn me about the behavior of whoever was in my seats.
Oh man!
And all I had to do was look, and I bet they were Eagle fans. And I looked, and they were Eagle fans. So I got a letter from the Giants because the tickets I gave, they were acting, you know, however they were acting. But it warranted a letter from the Giants.
Giants fans do not let Eagles fans take your tickets. Man. Just sell them to Giants fans at a loss.
I know.
Joe Becker, I am in the G Cave. Joe Becker's got a sweet basement. He tweets about it. Joe, tweet about tonight. You want to show off your basement. It is awesome.
Does he put pictures on? He put pictures on.
He's put pictures on before.
I gotta check that out. Okay.
All the Giants fans, if you got a cool man cave, send us pics as well. But I asked that question last year, and Joe Becker showed me his man cave, and it was pretty.
Yeah, I remember someone else, a guy named Chris, showed us his man cave. It was incredible. Everything was Giants. Everything was Giants.
I mean, Lice's play guy clearly has a cool one. It's him, and he's connected with a lot of these players. I love seeing pictures of that one. You know, that's always a pretty sweet setup he's got back there. Real quick, Joe Becker, you said Cleveland, Cincinnati, Buffalo, and Philly. Joe, I think you went to some of the coldest cities you could have possibly gone to for a football game. I went
to Green Bay. I saw a game in Lambeau Field.
Oh, there we go. What time of year?
It was cold. It was late November, but it was still cold.
Okay.
And you know, it's funny when you go there and you go in the store, like a grocery store, everything is green and yellow. And like all the wrapping and the food is green and yellow. It's like
it's the whole city.
Yeah, it's
I played a golf outing with another Giants fan that I met through. I actually met him at a Cincinnati game, but then, you know, we stay in touch through Twitter. And then, I did one of his golf outings up there, and it's incredible how involved the Packers are with the town and how much they love it.
The fans own it, right? The fans are the only football that own it.
Like a lot of the stuff they were auctioning off for the charity, it was all Packers stuff, and the fans are just so engaged with the team. Like, it feels like that's more of like the Western Texas high school team rather than like an NFL team that's there to make, you know, $1 billion however way they can.
And let me just say one more thing to Mason, because he told me he's 20 minutes from Valentine Resort. Hey, Mason, if you look me up at TKK Golf Course, that's where I teach. just look me up at that golf course. We'll meet up sometime.
For sure. Joe Becker, living upstate New York. Those are the closest places to me. We get it. No, I saw all those. I'm like, that's a proximity thing. Completely understand. Driving distance. Got to do it. All right, guys. Let's get back to Giants talk. I saw an interesting thing the other day. One of the players that's top 5 candidate for comeback player of the year by most Vegas casinos right now is Jones.
Wow.
Daniel Jones. I forgot what it was. I think I saw a move as close as plus 800. I could be wrong about that. Guys, look, they're talking about people's money right there. Vegas knows things. What do you think, Chris? Do you think that Daniel Jones will have a breakout year?
I do. I think he'll have a comeback year. I think if you look at that rookie year, despite the fumbling and the ball security issues he had, he was actually on pace, to set some records with throwing touchdown passes as a rookie. He had, what was it, 4 or 5 games throwing 4 touchdown passes. So I think the combination of a Dable system they didn't pick up the option. I mean, he has nothing to lose, right? So, and I think the reins are kind of thrown off him this year, considering what he went through with Garrett. And you heard it during training camp, Dable saying to him, listen, make mistakes, right? Throw interceptions in practice. We don't want games throwing interceptions, but I think that's a sign. Just let it loose, let it fly. My concern with him is the processing his reads, making the progression. Yes. But I think if he can get rid of the ball and he picks up this offense, I think it's a good chance of him to be a comeback player. Absolutely.
Truth. Let me ask you this, because Chris touched on it a little bit. Can Jones fix the issues that have been plaguing him for a while? I mean, clearly he doesn't get the time of day. That's something that can be fixed. What about the reading? What about the sensitivity of the presence in the pocket?
Yeah, I think
break that one off.
I think those are, well, listen, I think those are concerns. They are concerns, and he has to get to that point where he has to have an inner clock in him that when he's in the pocket too long, he's got to get out of there. I mean, I always said this the minute he was drafted. I said Daniel Jones should watch game film of Aaron Rodgers all day long, because that's what Aaron Rodgers has, great pocket presence. He knows, he can feel it when someone's around him, and he knows when to get out of that pocket. Now, Aaron Rodgers can run and gain yards, but he's not a scrambler. He runs when he has to, and that's what Jones needs to do. We don't want him to get hurt. But he played a horrible offensive scheme last year, averaged 220 yards a game, didn't get hurt. He would have thrown almost 3,800 yards. I think this year he's going to throw over 4,000 yards. Barring if he stays healthy, of course. I think he's going to throw over 4,000 yards this year.
I think we took it for granted with Eli. He did it several years in a row there. From the year, 2 years actually after he won the Super Bowl in 2009, and then he did it for a good stretch. What do you take about Mark's comment here, Chris? He says as long as he doesn't stare down his receivers and take 2 to 3 looks.
Great point.
That's what we're talking about. Yeah,
that's the issue. Now, I'm hoping the reason why he is staring down receivers is because his offensive line has been putrid. If he can trust that offensive line and sit back there and make his reads, then maybe that all changes. Well, yeah, Mark's right on. He can't be staring down receivers and not going through his progressions.
Right.
Guys are too smart. He's going to get picked off. They're going to know where to shadow. I mean, it's just and roll. That's an issue. It's going to be interesting to see if he trusts that line and he can go through that.
Yeah, Mark brings up a good point here. Instinct is what Daniel Jones needs, and it can't be taught. Look, Mark, you bring up a good point here, and I think this. We're going to the last year of Daniel Jones if he doesn't perform up to a high caliber level. There's no doubt about it. I think for the time being, we get behind Jones. I mean, do I feel like he is the guy? I got to be honest with you, I don't. But I'm more than happy to eat my own words before. I'm more than happy to do that. I'd be ecstatic to do it. There's some fans on Twitter that don't seem to be in that mindset. It's more just like, oh, he sucks. It's this. It's over. You guys enjoy the season. Let me ask you this. Who's your favorite quarterback in the 2023 NFL draft? Let's just say the Giants do have to move on from Jones. What are you guys thinking right now? What are your early thoughts? Truth first.
Listen, I'll be honest with you. I haven't dived in deep with the draft yet. I know there's a lot of talk about Ohio State kid Stroud. I'm not a fan of any Ohio State quarterback. I'm sorry. They never translate into a really, really successful quarterback in NFL. Not to my knowledge. I know there's a kid out of Kentucky.
Levis.
That people are talking about. I'll start doing more evaluation on them. And listen, if Jones struggles and totally bombs out, then that will be the first round pick for the Giants in 2023. Will be a quarterback.
Yeah. Yep.
But I'm pulling for him. I hope he does well enough where they give him they franchise tag him and they let him come back and play. So I think
Chris,
he's got the
any
tools.
thoughts about the quarterbacks?
Not really. I mean, Stroud, yeah, but once again, the Ohio State thing. I mean, that's always in the back of our mind, those Ohio State quarterbacks. What would be interesting is the Giants win 8 or 9 games, don't franchise Jones. Now they're in the middle of the pack. I mean, do they go out and get a Garoppolo? Do they make a move? I mean, I hate going down this road all the time, rolling the dice with these college quarterbacks.
They will have the money.
It was a guarantee. They knew it was a no-brainer, right? I don't know. It's it's going to be interesting if they go 8 or 9 games. Let's say they win 8 or 9 games. A lot's on the defense, but Jones doesn't play that great. He plays okay, but doesn't warrant that franchise tag. Now what do you do, right? So it can go. Well, it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. If nothing else, it's going to be. I don't say fun to watch, but it's definitely going to be interesting.
No, absolutely. Look, it's the most pivotal position in football, and I think even more so now than it was 25 years ago, is how strong of a need teams have for an elite quarterback. And it's nothing against Jones if it doesn't work out, but we'll see what happens. I'm an early fan of Levis. I'll just say that. I agree with you, Truth, on Stroud. I think the problem with Ohio State quarterbacks is that they are playing for extremely elite teams against far inferior talent. And I think the part of it that doesn't translate very well to the NFL is the fact that these quarterbacks, when they play at that high caliber, they're going to get drafted by crappy teams, just like Haskins did. And it just doesn't really work out. All of a sudden now you don't have all day with the protection. Now all of a sudden you don't have those star-studded wide receivers. That's why I kind of like those guys who aren't at big programs that are raising the level of the programs, like Mahomes did at Texas Tech, or Aaron Rodgers did at California. I think it's definitely something to look into. Real quick, Sarah. Hi, guys. Sarah, how are you tonight? Thank you for tuning in.
Hey, Mike, if I could say one more thing.
Go ahead.
We talk about the numbers with Jones, which is very important. We want to see, 4,000 yards, 30 touchdown passes, 13 interceptions, completion percentage maybe around 70. What I'd like to see as well, which would prove to me that this guy has turned the corner, is give us some signature wins. Come down the field, whether it's a field goal, touchdown, 3 wins where we're usually on the other end of the stick, right? The other team's coming down and scoring on us with no time up. I want to see Jones lead us with a couple victories, whether it's a field goal with time expired, and put the team on his back. And I think all of us as Giant fans, we've seen enough of Eli doing that late in the game. We want to see some of that from Jones. Put the team on his back, take him down the field, and let's win a couple games.
Look, a few stat monster games where he's just blowing the teams out of the water, that'll be great. I think elite quarterbacks need a few of those a year, or they're just, putting up 5 touchdowns with nothing.
Just keep in mind, too, guys, this is his 4th year, right? Daniel Jones?
4th year.
Just keep in mind it took Phil Simms his 5th year to have a breakout year. And only because of social media, Jones is getting bombarded. Simms didn't have that going against him. So I have faith in the kid. I think he's going to do well.
And Giants, I mean, look, it's a different game. I think the one thing you got to keep in mind, though, it's not even about keep him around forever, or, we'll go for another quarterback. But the problem is now the money becomes a huge factor for that 5th year, Truth. Because no matter what happens, the Giants own big fat franchise tag, and they're going to have to play that into consideration.
But he's got to have a great year to get that. Yes, I understand that.
Yeah. So that's the real difference there. But look, I mean, real quick, Chris, because I want to touch on your point before we kind of wrap things up here. We stats would love to see it, but really, those great games from the great quarterbacks come down to those games where they're kind of having a crappy game those first few quarters, but then they come in that 4th quarter and they clean it up and they win. They just, at the end of the day, make their team win. They're driving downfield. They're executing on 3rd downs. They have a late game presence. And that's going to be really important because, I'll tell you what, Jones can have bigger stats this year, but if a lot of those numbers are coming from garbage time or he's not executing on 3rd down and he's still showing those problems, you look at those numbers a little bit differently. So it's going to take multiple factors here. There's no doubt about it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Giants fans, I just want to wrap up with one thing. We are partnering right now with Leonard Marshall for his Ring of Honor shirts. If you are interested in these Ring of Honor shirts, I don't have one with me right now. I wish, I could share it with you, but it's on Twitter. Craig's been tweeting it. I've been tweeting it. Chris has been tweeting it. Truth's been tweeting it. These are really, really cool T-shirts. DM us if you're interested on Twitter. If you want an autographed one or just a regular one, and we'll talk to you about this. They're very cool. A lot of people in my family have gotten them. Reach out to me. Mason's ordered one. Mason, we appreciate it. We will have proof of Leonard Marshall signing these shirts, so don't worry about that aspect of it. But basically, it's going to be his Ring of Honor shirts. It's going to be very cool looking when you go to the Ring of Honor game this year when he gets inducted, which is well and long overdue. So if interested, reach out to us. Joe Becker already ordered. There we go, guys. We appreciate you. And Leonard Marshall appreciates you, too, because this is going to a good foundation.
And, Mike, I think they can go to the website, the team store, to purchase as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. So if you guys need the link, just let us know. But just go to NewYorkGiantsRush.com, and you should be able to find it there. Let us know if you're interested. But, yeah, look, Giants fans, that's all we got right now. Truth, do you have any final words for Giants Nation? What are your thoughts going into the week for the Giants?
Well, let's just keep everybody healthy, and I just want to see progress. I want to see these guys getting better and better each day. That's what Coach Dable says. Each day they want to get a little bit better and be ready for Tennessee on game one.
Totally. Chris, final words and a quick yes or no question I got for you both at the end of this.
Okay. Yeah, let's stay healthy. Darnay Holmes, I know we didn't touch upon him, having a great camp. Tomorrow, I believe the Giants are on the field in pads, and then Thursday they're going to have off. Friday's the Fan Fest with the scrimmage, and Saturday they have off, and I think they go back to camp on Sunday. So they're going to get a little break now. They're going to get a little breather the next few days.
All right, then. I got a big ringer question, big controversial one. Week 1, what's the final score of the Giants?
Oh, God. That's too early to give me a prediction.
Incorrect answer.
I know you're looking for an upset. I've seen your tweets on that, on your Twitters. I see that.
I find truly that, a lot of fans say, Joe Becker, you're right. We win 21-17. Correct answer only.
Who wins? He just put a score down.
Joe Becker, who wins that? Mark B, I see your opinion. Let's go. Look,
Joe Becker wants to know how he gets on the show.
Joe Becker,
One
we'll
more
talk
up.
soon, brother.
One more up.
Becker, what the hell, man? If you're wondering how to get on the show, you're putting the Titans out there, well, you can forget about it, dude. Look, a lot of people say it's really tough to go out there if you're a struggling rebuilding team to beat a more established team. I disagree. The Titans, just because the Giants are also trying to put things together in camp, the Titans are as well. Week 1 is a good opportunity to go out there. This is always the best time to beat the Patriots. Let me tell you something.
Get them early, right, Mike? Load the box against Derrick Henry.
Absolutely.
Make Tannehill beat us.
That's exactly right.
They're awesome secondary.
Joe, we don't want you to be real, even though you probably use good analytics to determine that. And for the pure fact that the Titans are most likely better than the Giants, I understand that. We were looking for fandom answers there. There you go. There's your answer, Joe. You're coming on next week, man.
Nice. Very good.
What's this right here? Please make an official announcement in G Nation live show. We'll be at the D Link January 8th, Giants away game. Tudo is coming into Philadelphia from Italy. Tudo, I do not know why you're going to Philadelphia in January, but if you're repping the Giants, man, I love it. I love it, and I get it. And what's this? 220 Italian Spartan strong. Love it, Tudo. Love it. Giants fans, we're looking forward to this. Next week, Joe Becker's going to be on the show. Stay tuned. Let us know.
Who's a special guest interview?
They look sick, and we can't wait to see you guys next week. All right, guys? Giants fans, thank you so much. Take care.